works for me.
It's live so that Shari and I don't have to
Hi.
do it again. Shari and I have just been gossiping about beauty products and full body massages and red light therapy and all kinds of fun
Ooh,
stuff.
I just got my red light mask from Androniki, and I'm going to start using that this weekend. See how that goes.
I
And
spoke with a client yesterday who had been in a car accident and they were threatening her with back surgery and all that good stuff. And she had someone say, try this before you get to that extreme. So she's been using it, I think, for 2 months. And she said she went in to see the back surgeon and he said, you don't need surgery.
yeah, you're like I said, you're like the fourth or fifth person in the past week and a half
Yeah.
that has told me about these red light mats. I'm like, okay, I got to get one of those.
I have a friend who's got a red light tent that he
Oh
uses at
wow,
his house because he's got his heart's failing and he's died 3 times on the operating room table while they were doing
oh my
heart surgery
goodness.
on him. You know, and the last time he didn't want to come back, he told him no, and he said, how'd you get away with not having to go when they told you to go? And I said, I don't know, but he's a little
Uh,
bit younger than I am, but he found this red light thing and he said it really has helped
I'm
his
gonna
own.
have to get one for my son. My son has he had a heart attack. It'll be 2 years this coming summer. Um,
Does he have natural ischemia or arrhythmia?
uh, uh, Determined that he had hereditary heart disease.
Mhm.
His dad had it. My mother had it. His dad's mother had it. And the doctors never found it, even when he was in the Navy for 5 years. They
Oh,
never
there's a lot of
detected
stuff
it.
I don't find.
Yeah.
I
And it wasn't
I
until he
have
had a heart attack.
I have occasional arrhythmias, and I don't know I'm having them until I look at my watch later and I say, "Oh, my heart was beating at near 200 beats a minute for an hour," and I don't even
Yeah.
feel it. And so
Yeah.
they've gone all over me, and this had something to do with what happened last June, but they've gone all over me. And it happened the other day, and I called my doctor's office. He said, how do you feel now? And he said, Nancy, you know what the routine is. I can bring you in here. We can run all those tests again, and you're going to look fine. But the reason I look fine is I genetically do not make plaque, vascular plaque, the little
Yeah.
thingies that make go up your bloodstream.
Yep.
5% of the people in the world don't make plaque. I don't make plaque, so I can't make a clot.
Yeah. Yeah. I worked for a plasma center, donation center for like 15 years, God, eons ago. And that was one of the things that we had to test for. And then we had a couple of like special uh, donors that came in who had that kind of non clotting factor in their blood,
Mm-hmm.
and others that had like the Rh negative in
Mm-hmm.
their blood.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were like our super special donors that would come in and donate
Yeah,
their plasma to be used for other patients.
I don't mean to be mean, but I don't donate.
Yeah, I don't, they won't take my blood. So I'm like,
I don't know if
I'm
they
not
take
doing it
mine or
anyway.
not,
But
but anyway. Enough
yeah.
of all the peculiarities, and for the lovely hi, Linda Bishop. Sometimes the first sign of heart disease is death. Oh, thanks.
Well, I tell you, and most of the people who've been watching me for a while got to experience it real time with me. When my son had his heart attack, I was
Mhm.
actually on air live with Irish Granny Helen and Denise Siegel. We were
Mhm.
doing a show, and my son hollered for me. And, as a mom, you hear that certain
It's a
tone of the
different. It's a
tremor.
different
It's
tone.
different than anything else. And you're like, all the red alarms go off. And I was like, I'll be right back. And I jumped up and I ran. And he's like clutching his chest. And I was like, oh my God, you're having a heart attack. And I come running back going, I think he's having a heart attack. I got to go by. I just shut everything down on my end and raced to the hospital. And sure enough, he was having a heart attack. It scared the bejesus out of us because he's
Well,
only 40. He'll be, what, 42 in February. So
I know.
he was just 40 when it happened, and it scared me to death. I'm
My
like,
father started having his painful heart things in his 30s, and he lived to be 80 something.
yeah,
And
yeah. I
what
mean,
they figured out caused it? One of his kidneys was smaller than the other one.
Huh.
And somehow in that whole system, the one kidney trying to keep the other one alive. As soon as they removed that kidney, he quit taking 10 medications he'd been taking. The last 10 years
Wow.
of his life, he took one blood pressure med that he had to take because his body gotten so used to having artificial blood pressure meds it couldn't handle it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and I had uh 4 vertebrae fused in my neck and a steel rod inserted back in 2011.
Ugh.
And now I have no discs left at all between my tailbone and L4 lumbar.
Mhm.
So, and my doctors are like, yeah, you're probably going to have surgery pretty soon because it's just getting worse. And so, yeah, I'm trying the red light mat. Let's
Well,
see if we can't
try the red light man.
fix
It
it.
just may make the other parts well enough that they'll be supportive to what you have to get fixed.
That's yeah. I've held them off. I got hurt in '99,
Oh,
and
okay.
I've held them off this long on surgery because I watched my late husband go through 5 back surgeries in a 14-year time
Mhm.
period, and it just kept getting worse. And I was like, I'm not doing that.
I tended
So
to marry tall men, and my first husband was 6'4", and he had back problems. And then my second husband was 6 feet tall, but he was born in England and he grew up as a child during World War II. So to be 6 feet tall, he was a pretty tall Englishman.
yeah.
He had some problems, but I finally got him to go to chiropractors and get things straightened out before they got too bad.
Well, my husband was tall for me. He was only 5'7",
Mhm.
but I'm 5 feet tall, so he had a good 7 inches on
Yeah,
me.
I know.
But he uh, uh, he just got, his last few years was really bad sick, and his health spiraled down quickly shortly after I got injured. And so that was, trying to take care of him and deal with my new injuries. And I've always tended to put myself in the back seat and deal with everybody else first. So
They gotta
uh,
their pain's always worse, seems like.
yeah, isn't that the truth? Kate, hush.
I take it that's from your house because we don't all my cats do not bark.
No, oh no. Well, I have 2 cats too. So if I disappear, it means the little one jumped up here and unplugged something,
Right.
which has
Okay.
happened quite a lot.
So let's get on with our 20 questions for the psychic profile. I
Alrighty.
want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here
Oh,
with
you're
us.
welcome. Thank you for the invitation.
And the first question is, when did you realize you had psychic abilities?
When I was 4, I
Okay.
think I would hear voice talk to me,
Hmm.
like think Darth Vader, James Earl Jones type
Yeah, that kind of.
bass voice,
Hmm.
and he would talk to me, and I would talk back, and people would walk in the room and be like, "Who are you talking to?" And I'd say, "God."
Hmm.
And they would go, okay, and just left it at that. Nobody said anything. And so it was just always this voice, always just talking to me and telling me things, telling me when to not, don't do that. You're going to get hurt, or go over here so that you're
Hmm.
not in danger. So it was like a protective angel, I think,
Hmm.
almost. And then when I was 9, we lived in Southeast Texas in Beaumont for
Okay.
me growing up. And when I was 9, we went to Fort Walton Beach, Florida to visit friends.
Hmm.
Um, and we arrived in the middle of the night. And when we walked in the house, I walked through the door, I stopped and I went, "Oh, I've been here before." And everybody was like, "No, you've never been here. We've never been to
Hmm.
Florida." I was like, "No, I've been here." And I told them where every room was, whose
Hmm.
room it was, what was in each room. And I remember my mother just gave me this funny look and she went, "Oh, you got the gift too."
Hmm.
And that was it. End of discussion. She never
Hmm.
talked about it again. And at that point, I started ignoring it. When I was around 12, I could float out of my body
Hmm.
and I would just like hang out on the ceiling and watch myself in the bed. I was scared to leave the room because I was scared I would get lost. And
Hmm.
what happens if I'm out there floating around and somebody comes in and thinks I'm dead or something?
Yeah.
What 12-year-olds think. And so as I got a little older, I just pretended I didn't hear, didn't see, didn't know.
Mhm.
Sometimes things would slip out, and I would just be like, "Oh, just a lucky guess." And it wasn't until I guess the early to mid 2000s
Mhm.
when suddenly more things started happening that I couldn't really ignore anymore.
Mhm.
I was living in Arizona at the time, and my mother had come out and joined me to come stay with me for a while. And I would go to the reservation. I lived like 2 blocks from one of the reservations,
Mhm.
and I would go there to get our cigarettes because it was cheaper. And
Mhm.
so I was friends with the guys that owned the little store.
Mhm.
And I went in one day and they were like, "Oh, we got calendars we made for our special customers, free
Mhm.
of charge. You can have one." And all the artwork is from the local tribes. I
Cool.
was like, "Oh, awesome! That's great." And so I took it home, and my mother and I start flipping through it. And one picture, when I flipped on it, it quite literally, I just felt it grab me. And I very distinctly heard in my head, "We're your guides." And I didn't know what that meant, but I knew it was important.
Mhm.
And uh, my mother knew it was important. I'm pretty sure she heard them say it too, although she never admitted it. But she snuck the picture out of the calendar
Mhm.
without me being aware. And she worked at Joann's at the time in the framing department.
Mhm.
And she took it to work and she bought this big, huge frame and she had it like matted and framed and
Oh, wow.
done up really nice. And then gave it to me as a gift. And it sits above my bed. It's the first thing I see in the morning, the last thing I see at night. And that kind of opened that door up when I saw that picture. And
Mhm.
I started hearing, I don't see dead people, but I hear them. Or it, sometimes it's dead people, sometimes it's guides or angels. Um, I've had several people tell me, you got a big angel standing behind you like all the time with
Mhm.
their wings open. And I'm like, good, I need all the protection I can get because I've forever hurt, fallen and doing dumb stuff. So it's a miracle I'm still alive and kicking. But and then uh, my mother had come back to Louisiana and she got dementia and got
Oh.
started getting really bad. And
Mhm.
my brother called and was like, "I can't deal with this by myself. You got to come home."
Mhm.
So I left Arizona. I moved back here, and we all moved in together. My son had gotten out of the Navy, and so it was me, my son, my brother, and his son, and we all moved in together to tag team taking care of mom.
Mhm.
And and then she passed in on Father's Day of June 2019.
Mhm.
And COVID hit, lockdown hit, and I was not in a real good headspace.
Who
Um,
was? I mean, you had enough
we
stuff
were we were
going
all
on and
freaking out, and then I just lost my mama on top of it,
mhm.
and I just got online and I was just like flipping around, and I had a channel, a video pop up on my feed for progressive political tarot reading. I was like, what? That exists? I didn't know that
Mhm.
existed. And I
Mhm.
was hooked from the first show. And so I started watching that person, which led me to this person, which led me to the next person. And it was probably a good 6 months before I even really started chatting because I was just so overwhelmed by I couldn't get over how nice everybody was. And the first time I started chatting, Angela Cardamancy Mesquite, instant response. Well, it took you long enough.
Mhm.
I was like, excuse me? And she's like, you've been waiting a long time. We've been waiting for you to say something. And
Mhm.
she's like, you're psychic, right? And I'm like, yeah, no. And she's like, yeah, you are.
Mhm.
Okay, gosh. She's like, you're supposed to be a reader. I'm like, I don't own cards. I don't know anything about tarot cards.
Mhm.
She was like, give me your address. She sent me 2 decks of cards. And so I got them and I emailed her back. I said, okay, now what? She says, just start playing with them. She said, watch other readers when they draw and throw cards. You throw cards. You get the same ones. Do you get different ones? Why do you think that is? And she just kind of baby stepped me through those first few months so I could get comfortable. But it was like the first time I held that first deck of cards and just held them in my hand, it was like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. It
Mm-hmm.
was an epiphany. I was just flabbergasted. The last thing in the world I ever would have imagined. And the minute I kind of accepted that, that's when other things started happening and
Right.
coming to the forefront. And it's just been a learning and growing process ever since. I love collabing with other people because I learn from them, and I had so many people that reached out and helped me out in the beginning, had
Mm-hmm.
me on their channels, and would walk me through when I would get stuck and not know how to read something. Um, and so now I like to do that for others. I like to
Mm-hmm.
go searching for brand new channels just starting and inviting them on and letting them get comfortable being behind the camera and or in front of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like paying it forward. People have helped me, so now I can help others. And I love it. I love doing this.
Well,
I
you
laugh.
started.
I say, "This is my retirement plan." It's like, yeah,
You took care of my first four questions. I asked the next one was a single aha moment. No, it grew gradually. You figured it out. Did you notice unusual experiences as a child? Yes, you talked about that.
yeah,
And how did people around you react with your experiences? And they were supportive. So,
yeah. People in the community, my
mhm,
family were all looking at me like somebody's flipped their lid here, because they don't believe in any of this stuff, or they say they don't believe in any of it. I think they're
mhm,
starting to. But because we all still live together, even
mhm,
after my mother passed, we decided it's cheaper to just all stay together than it is to spread out. And so they went out of their way to make sure that I had the space and the equipment and everything else to do this. And sometimes I think they take it more seriously than I have
well,
at times.
they
And
put you where you need to be, and you have that kind of support, and that's really important. People, you have no idea, guys, how hard
yeah,
it is to try and stand out here on your own. That's one of the reasons why I'm
yeah,
doing psychic profiles, is because so many people are waking up right now, especially 2024. It's been a very important year for people waking up, and they're like, what do I do next? Where do I go? And I want them to understand not everybody was born doing this, or we'd start and stop. There's a lot of different ways it happens, and you just have to be ready for your journey.
yeah. If anyone would have told me how much effort it would take to run a channel, to do readings, to do all of that
Hmm.
way back in the beginning, I would have said, "Oh, you got to be crazy. I can't afford that. I don't have time for that." But because I didn't know, I jumped in with both feet, and
Right.
by the time it dawned on me, I was like, "Well, I'm in it now."
I'm in it
So,
now. Yeah, I
and
knew I
and I
knew what
love
it was
it.
going to take, because I had a degree in broadcast film, so I knew a little bit about to get something that looks, and that's why I just film what I film, and I don't. And I was a film editor, which is really sad. If you've ever watched my shows, they are not edited. But
I don't know how to edit either. Don't feel bad.
oh no, I've taken a couple tutorials and I could do it, but I just don't. I think it's better if we just let it go.
I think if I had time to put into that, maybe I would make some videos that I can edit and make them look all fancy schmancy, but I just don't have time. It's like it is what it is. You get me warts and all.
Yeah, well,
It's
that's what I am too. Are there any specific tools? I know you read cards. Are there other
uh-huh.
tools you use as part of your practice?
My pendulum. I have
Okay.
several pendulums I use. I had a set of dowsing rods that I was kind of getting used to, and they broke. And
You
so,
took that as a hint.
well, yeah, I was like, okay, maybe I'm not supposed to use these, but I've been thinking about maybe get another set and just see what happens. If another set breaks, then it'll be like, okay, that's not for
How did
me.
they break?
Um, um, it's They're copper, and they have
Mhm,
like the little metal balls on the tips to
mm,
keep the moving parts in place.
mhm.
And the metal balls kept disappearing off of the rods. It was like, and because I would check them and make sure they stayed tight, but the metal balls would
You
just
need real simple
disappear.
ones like this. This is just
Yeah,
a wooden spool and the rod. And there unless this is the part that broke off, the metal at this end,
yeah,
you can't break these.
yeah. Well, and the set I had was a gift from somebody had sent me, and but the metal balls, the tips that hold all the pieces together
Kept
kept
falling
coming
apart.
off and disappearing, and I finally said, "Oh, screw it! I just
That's enough
I
of
threw them
that.
away."
Do you have any people you view as mentors or teachers or people you go back to talk to about things?
Oh yeah, Angela Cartomancy
Hmm.
Mesquite, um, Diana Bowles,
Hmm.
oil painter,
Hmm.
um, Valerie, Illumination Portal. Um, that's like they've got more knowledge in their little toe than I have in all of my experience.
Hmm.
And I learn so much whenever I can sit with them and just kind of absorb their energy. Uh, People that I read with, Marina, Heart Center Tarot,
Hmm.
Val from Dragonfly Crystals. They've taught me a lot. They're, it's like each person, we kind of all do the same thing, but each person's a little different.
Well,
I've learned a whole lot from Mel, the Aloha Shirt Psychic,
yeah.
and from Arthur Ease Your Mind. Of course, Arthur, he's been in Hollywood and New York and worked for TV shows and has an Emmy and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So he knows a lot about putting yourself out there. And when we first got to be friends, for whatever reason, he decided I was his next project, and he started in on, you need to do your makeup like this. You need to get a ring light. You need a screen. He bought me the screen that's behind me
Mhm.
because I didn't get one fast enough to suit him, so he bought one for me instead. And 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 Linda G. I mean, I got to know Linda. She's such a sweetie, and I've learned a lot from her because she is just so. It's like she's just so open, and it just
Mhm.
comes.
Right.
And so she's totally different than how some of the other folks are. And but I would say probably as far as who do I go to with questions and stuff would be like Angela, Diana, um, Mel, Marina, because Marina's been doing this like a really long time, and uh, and so those are the ones that I'll
What's
say, how do I do this? Or
what's the best piece of advice you think any one of them's given you?
just to open up. Don't try to control it. Just open it up and let it flow. In the beginning, it was like with reading the cards. Quit being technical about it. You don't need to know what every card means.
No.
Just go with what you're being told. And that took a while because I tend to be very OCD
Uh-oh.
about that kind of stuff. And it's like, I
Yeah.
want to know what every card means. And, but it took a while. I think me kind of going away from tarot and into oracle cards
Mhm.
helped me build that up some. And and when the mediumship stuff started happening, it was frustrating because it just was sporadic. It's still kind of sporadic. I never know when it's going to work, but it was just kind of weird. And it was, the aforementioned people just saying, just relax with it,
Mhm.
do something else, and before you know it, they're going to be right there talking to you. And
Yeah.
sure enough, that seems to be the way to do it. This past year, my mother shows up
Oh,
when
okay.
I'm trying to do a mediumship, and I literally will hear her say, "No, no, my daughter's gonna translate for you. Come over here."
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, mom's going to get them. I wasn't expecting that, but there you go.
There you go.
Um, and this past year, I've started getting visions, which is new. It's like suddenly this full Technicolor movie frame in front of my face,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm looking at a movie. That was my mother's gift, was she had visions, and so I don't know if it's something that she's passed to me, or if it's just that I've opened up enough that I'm able to pick up on it. But I've started getting those. Again, they're kind of, they happen when they happen. I don't have much control
Right.
uh, yet, but I'm working on that part. It's Sun Psychic Gene was the first one that kept telling me, "Oh, you got to open up the third eye, open the flap." And I'm like, "What flap?" She's like, "You got to flap over your third eye. You got to open the flap and let it." I would be like, "Okay." So I don't know. The flap part doesn't seem to work, but if I focus on something else, like doing the reading, and the
Mm-hmm.
next thing I know, I've got them talking in my ear and telling me, tell them so and so, tell them this,
Right.
tell them that. And so it's just so many people have, been more than willing to share their knowledge of what they know how to do to help me as I've struggled with new things that have come about,
Yeah.
and would be like, I'm not quite sure how to do this. And suddenly somebody, that I know will email me or call me or something. And it's like, oh, cool. I can ask you about it. And
Mm-hmm.
that seems to help. And so, I mean, I am eternally grateful for the friends that I have made
Right.
that have just always been there.
It is a wonderful community.
It is. It is. I think that's why I didn't want to chat in the beginning, because I kept waiting for I kept waiting for the nails to come out,
Yeah.
like cat, And it's like, how can people be this nice all the time? Nobody's being like, now, and everyone. It,
Well,
it kind of caught
well,
me off guard.
welcome to the new age.
There you go. It just took me a while to get there, but
Okay. How did you learn to differentiate between your psychic impressions and what was your imagination?
when it's a psychic impression, it it kind of comes in. It's like seeing something in Technicolor as
Hmm.
opposed to just something that's kind of misty and off in the
Hmm.
distance. Um, I mean, and I've always had a pretty vivid imagination. So in the beginning, that kind of freaked me out because I couldn't tell the difference. But as I started focusing on it, Kane, hush, hi, hi, hi. He's very old and he's very cranky all the time.
It's okay.
He's old and he's cranky and he's going blind and he's going deaf and he doesn't have any teeth anymore. And
I'd
he's just,
bark too. I would bark.
yeah, he's just a miserable old man. So it's like, okay, whatever, dude, just hold it down. um, but it's just once I kind of started concentrating on it,
Hmm.
I realized that when I was getting something from spirit, it comes in very sharp and clear.
Hmm.
Like I said, like, Technicolor movie screen in my face.
Hmm.
Um, and so that was kind of cool once I realized that. Kind of helped me know the difference between the two.
Right. And
Uh,
it's a clarity. It's a complete understanding and
absolutely.
clarity. It's a knowing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's why that.
And in the knowing, you're right, that deep down just feeling
Hmm.
this is important. remember this, or go write this down, or whatever the case, tell them this. I mean, I've had things come to me and I'm like, I can't say that, they're going to think I'm nuts. And I'll hear my, whoever it is that's talking to me, depending on the moment, I just hear him say, just tell them what I said. And when
Mhm.
I do, they're like, oh, oh, that was their favorite movie, or that was their favorite
Mhm.
song, or that was their favorite flower, or whatever it may be. Um, and so I've been learning to just go with that, no matter how crazy it sounds. Okay, fine,
The
I'll say it out loud. So,
the only way I've ever been able to explain that to people is it's like I lay the cards out and I see what the story is, and it's like a book I've read before. And I
yeah,
know what the story's going to be. And as soon as I start relating the story to them, then they realize it's a story they know. And then I know we're all on
the
the
same page. Yeah. I know when I do readings, I tend to, when I hold up the card, I will say, well, this card represents blah 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 blah.
mm-hmm,
But what I'm feeling with it today is this. Uh, there are several cards that is like, okay, what I feel is not at all what it says it means.
mm-hmm,
So we're just going to go with what I'm feeling on this. The Ace of Wands. Whenever the Ace of Wands comes up, it's like I'm being told, just go whack them in the head and be done with it. I'm like, I can't do that.
the bam bam stick, bam bam.
The bam bam. Yeah, perfect. That's a perfect way to put it.
I
And
stole that from Danny Shea. So
that fits Danny so well.
I,
I love taking his shaman stuff. It's
oh yeah,
that's
his stuff's
opened
good.
me up. And it's like I would love to be able to actually meet him in
Oh,
real
I
life.
met him. He came through Dallas this spring,
Oh wow, cool.
and he
Yeah.
came and visited my ley line tree. He visited Hogarth. He brought leaves from his oak tree to my oak tree.
Oh, oh,
And we were all out hugging the tree, and the tree's in the middle of this long park space that's in an area that leads to a golf course. And we were out there at noon, kind of when everybody's out walking their dogs. And Danny and I were hugging the tree, and we were there with Marianne, who lives here in Dallas too. And we're all hugging the tree. And we turn around and look, and all these people are looking at us like, yeah. And Danny said, why are they staring at us? And I said, probably has to do with something about hugging a tree in Dallas, Texas. You got it.
yeah. That's not normal.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that I live in Louisiana, um, I'm down in Lafayette, which is Cajun country. We're
Yeah.
This is like the real consolidation of the Cajun culture, um, which I'm Cajun on one side of the family, and I think that because of that openness of the people down here to that kind of stuff, that it kind of allows everybody. Sometimes they may look at you kind of funny, but they're like, okay, whatever. It's worse in New Orleans. It's so
No, the
intense
thing
out
is that in Louisiana, I I know it's because there's like lots of tall trees and stuff, lots of nature there, but
there. Oh
you
yeah,
really feel tied to the earth and tied to the trees and tied to the
yes,
nature much more in Louisiana when I'm driving east to go there.
oh
When
yeah,
you get into the big thicket, which is the big tall trees in Texas, or the few
yeah,
that we
yeah.
have in East
Oh,
Texas.
I've been in the big thicket, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So once you go through the big thicket, then all of a sudden you're kind of in this area that's very, very, very tied with the water and the air, and everything's all there, and you can feel it
Yeah.
just
Oh
walking.
yeah. It's I take I don't care how hot or cold it is. If it's raining or not, depending on how hard it's raining. I go outside for my lunch break every day at work. I got
Hmm.
a little spot that I found. It's like up against the side of the building, um, and it's behind a bunch of big hydrangea bushes and
Hmm.
Japanese elms, trees. And so it's like where I can sit I can see out into the parking lot and the sidewalk,
Mhm.
but people can't really see in unless they're looking for me.
Mhm.
They walk right by me and don't know I'm there. And it's great because I'm right there with nature.
Mhm.
I have to go outside every day. I don't care what the weather's like. I just have to go out because that recharges me. I've had a lot of people tell me, "Well, that's because you're a green witch. You're that's part of your power." And I'm like, "Okay, fine. I'll accept that." Um, Colleen, the cool crone,
Mhm.
she's done a lot to teach me on Wiccan things. When I have a lot of questions
How
about
to
that.
grow those roots out of your feet.
And yeah, and oh, I'm going blank on the other person's name that's taught me a lot on pagan stuff, and it's which is really intriguing to me. But yeah, down here in Louisiana, it's the esoteric, I guess you could say, is so deeply ingrained just in the surroundings around,
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
the dirt, in the trees, in the water. It's it's like its own person almost.
Mhm.
It's almost like uh, I laugh. My son's a sound engineer. He works at one of the clubs downtown where he runs a sound for live bands. And I found out last weekend that he tells when he has new coworkers that come in and somebody's
Mhm.
asking about, how's your mom? Is your mom doing any readings this week? And da 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 da. And he'll have him ask, well, what does your mom do? And he'll be like, oh, she's a swamp witch.
Mhm.
And if it's somebody from the area, they're like, oh, okay, no
No big
problems with
deal.
it.
So, yeah.
If it's somebody that's not from here, they're like, a swamp witch. What is that? Like, I don't know, but that's what she is. And I'm like, okay, that works for me. So I'm a swamp witch. It's just like the name of my channel. When I first started my channel, I was like, what am I supposed to call myself? I don't know what to, everybody had these cool names. And
Mhm.
um I very clearly heard you're in the swamp. You hear voices. Figure it out. And I'm like, my guides are very, very blunt
Very,
with me.
very vivid
They
group of
don't put
folks.
around about anything. They just put it. And I'm like, oh, voices from the swamp. Okay, that fits. Um, but yeah, they were very, very clear about boom. This is you're in the swamp. You hear voices.
That's
Like
good.
'cause I'm literally 3 miles from the Atchafalaya. I mean, that's how close I am.
Mhm.
That's the largest land-based swamp in the continental U.S. is the Atchafalaya, and I mean that's an 18-mile bridge to cross it to get to Baton Rouge.
Oh, I know. That's
That's a
we had
hellacious bridge.
I drove that bridge. We went on a cruise and on the way back we took the bridge to get home to head back to Texas, and my daughter, who really doesn't like bridges, really did not like that entire thing.
I dislike the one in Lake Charles more than I do the one over the swamp. I don't like the one in Lake Charles because you go up and then you got a
Yeah.
curve in it and it's got the stuff over the top. It's like, yeah, yeah, I don't like that too much. So, same as the bridge that when you go into Baton Rouge, you're going over the Mississippi. I don't like that bridge either. But
But we need them because I don't want to swim it either.
that's very true. I mean, I've had people ask me, "Well, do you go in the swamp like at night and do stuff?" I'm like, "You don't go in the swamp at night. Are you crazy?" I said,
Yeah, I mean,
there are
no, I
things
want to.
that will eat you.
I don't want to be the voice from the swamp that's going glug.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, yeah, no, there's stuff in the swamp that will eat you,
That's right.
especially at nighttime. It's like, no, 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 no. We don't go at nighttime.
Uh, are there
But
moments when you've gone on this journey that you really doubted yourself? Like, should I be doing this?
oh, absolutely.
And
Especially in the
how'd you
beginning.
push through that? How'd you push through that?
I think a lot of it was. one, just because I'm so damn stubborn, is I don't want to admit that I made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly it was like when I feel that, it would be me going and sitting outside and go and just saying, all right, am I really supposed to be doing this? Is this really real, really the direction I'm supposed to go in? And invariably something, spirit will bring
I'll let you
something.
know.
They'll bring my eagles. I didn't know Louisiana had eagles
Oh,
here.
really?
I didn't know we had eagles. And when the apartment we live in now, we moved here 5 years ago. When we moved into these apartments, uh, we'd been here a couple of months, and I was sitting out on the patio, and I saw something go whoosh, like out of my peripheral
Mm-hmm.
vision. And I'm looking around going, what was that? And a few minutes later, whoosh, it goes back by the opposite direction. And I'm like, okay, I'm not losing my mind. And I stood up, and that's when I saw it, this beautiful eagle that was just swishing through the parking lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just mesmerized. And for about 2 or 3 weeks, it was almost daily. This eagle would come by,
Mm-hmm.
and if I grabbed my phone or a camera to try to take a picture of it, it would shoot straight up as high as it could go and would disappear. And after a couple of times, it dawned on me, oh, I'm not supposed to take a picture of it. They're coming to talk to me, not to
Mm-hmm.
share with everybody. And I guess about 6 months after I first realized this, he started showing up with his mate. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. And it was a few months later that I saw an article in the local paper about uh, a little bit closer to North Louisiana, an eagle, a place where there's a lot of eagles are
Mm-hmm.
at. And one of them had just had hatchings.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had cameras up on them to
Yeah,
watch them.
I was going to say I've watched a nest of eagles in Louisiana.
Yeah. And so I was like, wow, I didn't even know that existed here. And I've lived here most of my life. I mean, between here and Beaumont and Fort Walton Beach, I mean, I've been on the Gulf Coast my whole life. So it was very unique. And then Danny was the one that said, "Yo, eagles are your spirit, one of your spirit animals.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they came to you." And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Oh, okay." Because I didn't quite understand why I was suddenly I'm seeing eagles out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's one of the things that it seems like whenever I something happens that upsets me or that just kind of throws me off my game. If I go outside, they're the eagles. I won't see them for months. But if I'm
If you
upset
need
or
them, they're
troubled
there.
about something when I need them, suddenly they're there flying around. And I'm like, okay, okay, it's under control. The
What
eagles are here. I don't have to worry. So,
What do you
uh,
do on a regular basis to protect your energy other than talk to the eagles?
regularly, I'm not very good at meditating. I've tried. I can't get my brain to shut up long enough to really be competent at that. Mostly it's I have to go outside,
Mm-hmm.
just somewhere outside where I can just be in nature. It's just I get a strength from that um, kind of surpasses anything else. Um, I do every full moon. I walk around the outside of our apartment with my white sage incense and bless all the windows and doors. I can't burn incense in the house because all three of my guys are allergic to it. So I have to do it outside. I'm sure my neighbors are like, there goes that crazy lady again.
She's trying to
she's,
set the place
she's,
on fire. She just can't get enough of a flame going.
there you go. Um, and just little things I have when I'm inside and I can't do the incense. I've got the white sage spray. Um,
Yeah,
I've had
I use dragon's blood.
I love dragon's blood. That's
I
a
have
great.
some that's in a spray, and I also have
Oh,
some Palo Santo that's in a spray.
I don't like Palo Santo. It makes my eyes swell up.
Well, then don't go near it.
So I don't use it. I gave all of that incense away to somebody my son knows that is into incense, and I gave her all my Palo Santo. But I do like dragon's blood. I like that one a lot,
Hmm.
and I like the scent for that. I like to use that along with my white sage to bless my cards when I get new cards and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I had the bookshelf that I have the majority of my cards in is in front of a window that I can do the blinds for the full moon,
Oh,
so they're
cool.
getting the moonlight in on them.
Mine are
And
in the middle of my house in a dark room that I'd have to blast a wall out to get any moonlight near them.
well, my bedroom is half of the living room, and I get the half with the window. So
Mhm.
I put the book, the cards in front of the windows. That way they can get the moonlight. And but at least the cats haven't discovered that yet. So my older cat she's big and fat and doesn't do anything but sleep now. But she had her first litter, her one and only litter, because we got her fixed after that about 6 months ago or so.
Mhm.
And out of the five kittens she had, one survived.
Mhm.
And that's Bruno. We call him Bruno the Bruiser, and he is all over the place. He's got so much energy. It's just like, dude, contain for a minute. He just zoomies everywhere, and
Mhm.
he can make us crazy. I got to go get him fixed too
Yeah.
before he
I'll
starts
take care of
spraying.
the zoomies. What do you, okay, back to the questions. Do you think psychic abilities are innate, or can anyone develop them?
I think we all have them.
Hmm.
I think we all have them. We're all born with it. It's just, I think that it depends on your environment that you grew up in.
Hmm.
Are you in an environment or around people that are very open minded about stuff?
Hmm.
That seems to really kind of help people open up with it, as opposed to if you're in a very closed down environment or a super religious environment, that it may take longer, if ever, for your abilities to wake up because they get like locked behind a
Hmm.
steel trap door that they can't get out. I know with me, I kept my abilities like in the closet. And when I finally opened the door, it was like getting hit with a marching band. Just,
Hmm.
they all came out at once. And I was like, whoa, this is too much. And so they had to kind of back off a little bit. But um, I think we all have that ability. It's just a matter of being willing to open yourself up to it,
Hmm.
especially as you become more aware
Hmm.
that those abilities are available, um, and that all you have to do is decide in your head, yeah, this I want to explore this.
That's right.
And
A question for you is: Have has your work changed your worldview or beliefs about life and death?
no, it hasn't changed them. It's clarified them. It's solidified them. It's like things that I always kind of sort of believed and
Hmm.
just had that feeling about, that as I've opened up and start having conversations with my guides and my ancestors, it's like, oh, okay, that's why I always believed that.
Hmm.
When I was 15, when the original Star Wars movie came out, um, in the scene where Obi-Wan Kenobi is telling Luke what the Force is.
Hmm.
And I remember sitting in that theater going, that's it. that's what I believe. And it was like mind blowing because it was like energy, and it's all energy, and energy's around us. And I was like, wow, I didn't know how to verbalize it before then. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know what to call it. And thank God for Steven Spielberg
George Lucas.
and George Lucas, who put all of that together. And I was like, oh, wow, that's it exactly. That's what I've always believed. I
Mm-hmm.
just didn't know how to explain it to people. So even today, when people ask me, well, what do you believe in? I'll just tell them the Force.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just look at me like, oh, you're one of those Star Wars freaks. I'm like, yeah, but I still believe in the Force.
If you want to make them really think, tell them you follow Joseph Campbell, because they took all that stuff from Joseph Campbell, who
Ah,
studied the world's myths, and I knew about Joseph Campbell before Star Wars was ever
oh,
made,
cool.
and yeah, and it's really the archetype. It's the archetype of the hero
Yeah,
or
yeah,
heroine, depending on how you view it.
yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of the belief systems also come from the Torah
Oh yeah.
and, and what the Torah teaches in the Jewish faith.
Mm-hmm.
In high school, my two best friends, one was Jewish, one was Catholic. So
Mm-hmm.
every Friday night, we all went to temple together. And then
Mm-hmm.
every Sunday morning, we all went to Mass together. And I figured, okay, I'm getting old in New Testament. I'm good.
You're fine. You're
I'm
covered.
good to go. I'm covered. I got both ends of the book. So, and
Okay. And what is one of the most powerful readings you've ever done that just strikes you as, okay, this is why I'm here?
powerful readings. I guess there's been a few personal readings I've done that when I did the reading, when I, did a card layout or picked something up on the mediumship side of it, and just, my mind, I'm like, I hope that makes sense down the road,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they're like, well, I don't ever see that happening. And then have somebody come back 2 or 3 months later going, oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
it happened exactly the way you said it was going to happen. And I sit there and I go, well, what did I say? Because I don't
Yeah.
remember.
People, you
It's
guys,
gone.
this isn't a joke among readers. We don't remember. It is
Yeah.
our story. It's we are the passage to get the information to you. I always tell people, if you want to talk to me in the next couple of weeks. After that, it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do a reading, whether if it's just a little 1 or 2 card thing online on the
Mm-hmm.
show, or whether if it's an in depth reading that I'm doing for a personal reading.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Within a couple of days after I've done it, I couldn't tell you what I said. It's completely gone. I'd have to go back and rewatch the video
Mm-hmm.
to tell you what was said. I have no memory of it.
And sometimes, even when I review them, I'm still not sure what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yes, exactly. There have been a lot of times I've gone back and rewatched a show and be like, "What the hell was I talking about? That doesn't make any sense." And to only start skimming down in the comments and having people saying, oh my God, that's exactly what right.
Mm-hmm.
You were answering so and so's question, but you were talking to me.
Well,
It's like,
that's the other thing people should learn when they're in the chat. There was a lady who asked if she could ask questions today. When I'm in this mode, we don't ask questions. Normally, I do ask questions on my channel, but answer questions. But one of the things is that if you're in the chat and you hear an answer to a question, you were in that chat for a reason.
yeah,
And
oh
you can
yeah,
learn as much. I've learned as much from sitting and listening to what the other answers were as,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
those are good.
I moderate for a lot of the other readers whenever I'm able to to sit down for a
Mhm.
live with them. I do backstage for several of the readers where I just handle their chat and their questions so
Mhm.
that they don't have to deal with it. They're
Right.
just answering, um, which I love to do because I'm OCD enough that it allows me to get in there and
And
see what everybody's saying
it
and
it frees the reader up so they can just read.
big time, you know. And as someone who's had people do that for me, wow, it makes a huge difference. And uh, but there's a lot of times when whatever it is I'm doing and I'm not asking for questions for myself or anything, and suddenly someone will answer a question and it's like all the antenna go off,
Mhm.
go up. As Mel says, the light bulb turns on, and I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, whoa, you're talking to me, okay. So yeah, I mean, when you're in the chat, even if it's not your question, you may very well be getting an answer to your question that
Mhm.
you don't even know that you're asking for. Um, so
Sher-
uh,
Sherry, what's a piece of advice you would give for someone who's just starting to explore their gifts?
be patient with yourself. Don't try to force it. Just just let it flow. I think that was the hardest lesson I had to learn because I wanted everything to be instant, and it's like it's not an instant.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you suddenly get something that feels very instant, but um, I think the biggest thing I tell people is just relax. Don't force it. Just let it flow. And if you don't know, simply say, I don't know.
That's not information I
I'm
can
not,
know.
yeah, I'm not getting anything. They're not telling me anything. Or, you do a card spread and you look at it and you're like, well, what is that supposed to mean? Because it just completely, it doesn't make sense. Um, and it's not just being honest to the person that you're doing it for, but it's being honest to yourself to just simply say,
I
I
can't
don't
do that.
know. I can't do it. They're not giving me that information right
When
now.
I used to read at table, the first question I'd ask is I'd always start out with what's going on around you for the next 3 months. That was for everybody. And if you sat at my table, that was your first question. It didn't happen often, but it would happen a couple times a year. I'd lay the cards down and I'd go, "This isn't your reading." And they always thought I'd seen something horrible and I wasn't going to tell them. And I
Yeah.
said, "No, it's really not your reading." And a lot of times, because I was reading in an open, I was reading in a wine bar. So it's kind
Yeah.
of an open area. We're catching someone else's energy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have to explain that to people. And then we do their reading and then I get them right. Right. Hold for a sec.
I've had that happen to me. Oh goodness. Um, I've had that happen to me whenever I'm reading, online during a show or something where someone asks a question and I pull cards and it doesn't fit. And I literally am like, no, no, that's not theirs. Draw again.
Mhm.
And so then I have to go, okay, well, who's it for? And usually I'll just kind of put those cards aside. If I need to grab another deck, I will. Um, that's another thing I do before I do a reading is I'll
Mhm.
go to my bookshelf and be like, okay, what cards do I need?
Right.
And they will literally light up
Mhm.
like there's a like somebody flipped a neon light on inside the box, and the card decks will just light up for which ones I need to grab. And it's not unusual to be in the middle of a reading and suddenly I'll hear wrong deck, go get the other one. I'll be like, I just laid them out. No, wrong deck, go get the other one. I'm like,
I know.
okay. So,
They stick together. There's lots of things cards do that you don't see as you're not the reader, but you
yeah.
just have to be sensitive to that. But okay, I've got one last question. This is your
Okay.
last one. What's the biggest lesson you've learned in your psychic journey?
That I'm not alone.
Hmm.
Um, that regardless of if I'm sitting in my house completely by myself, I'm still not alone. I know my guides and stuff are with me, um, and that if I need them, they're going to step up and be there. Um, I know that if there's anything that's going to be really, really, really bad within my immediate surroundings, like with a family member or something, I'll usually start getting little hints,
Mm-hmm.
things that kind of pop out at odd moments, and it's taken me a while to figure that out. That okay, that's not for that person I'm reading for. That's actually for me. Let me write it down real quick,
Mm-hmm.
and go back and explore it later. But I think the biggest thing is to not be so hard on myself. Uh,
Yeah.
just let it happen.
We do what we do,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
we can't make things up.
and some days it's like 200%. I'm on fire, everything's going, and other days it's like pulling teeth from a tiger. It's just not happening. And I don't know if it's because the person I'm reading for is blocked
Mm-hmm.
and I just can't pull anything from them, or if it's something on my end that's got me blocked and I'm just not plugged in for whatever reason. And I just all you can do is be honest about it. Just I'm not getting anything. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, but I'm not. And then just kind of take it from there and see what happens next. But um, I think the biggest thing is being honest with yourself
Mm-hmm.
about when it comes and when it doesn't, and just just kind of roll with the punches. What
That's right.
happens happens. Uh, that's
Well,
the most important thing.
I want to thank you so much
Thank you.
today. I try to keep this as close to an hour as possible, but you were so good that, like, I give you the first question that was at the beginning of a section, and you'd answer all the questions. And that's
Yeah, I tend to be a motor mouth.
that's okay. That's fine. That's fine.
My
Listen,
late husband used to tell me, "You got diarrhea of the mouth. You don't know when to stop." And I'm like,
no, what's worse is when you get someone and you give them a long, complicated question and they go, yes. Let me, I've been through that. In this journey, I have been through that. I want to thank everyone who came by to see us. And
"No,
I'm
thank
going to
y'all."
put up, um, this is Her Voices from the Swamp on YouTube.
Yep.
And you can
Yep.
schedule a reading by going to the
Swamp
Voice of the Swamp at Gmail.
.com.
And put reading in
I'm
the subject line, guys. I cannot tell you, trying to sift through your emails and not know what's going on.
um I'm one more week of work and then we got 2 weeks off. One of the pluses of working for a university, we
Mm-hmm.
actually get 2 full weeks off at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm hoping to get at least a scheduling page created and up
Mm-hmm.
so that it's not the back and forth and back and forth and back and forth with emails or me missing them because they
Mm-hmm.
forget to put reading in the subject line.
Right. So,
Um, that way they can just go to that and just they'll see the schedule, what's available, and they can go from there. And make it a lot easier for everybody.
and right now I'm still doing my 12-month readings, my 3-month readings, and my past life readings. So, and that's the other thing I do when I'm not being happy and
Doing this.
talking to lovely people like Shari. And
Thank you, ma'am. I
I want
was
to
so
thank y'all.
tickled when you asked me. So
Oh no, I'm so glad you came. I
I'm a
want to thank
big fan. You
everyone.
were one of the first ones I started watching way back in the
I
beginning.
remember we actually
Yeah,
did something together.
yeah. And I've been. It's like I can't remember what it was, but when you told me
I'm
that,
sure
I was
we were
like,
reading cards.
yeah. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, okay. I do remember that. I had to think about it because I was thinking we had never. collabed together before, but we had. Um, I just didn't remember it. I don't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, much less.
That's kind of where I am at this point in my life.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to thank all the people who showed up. The newbies,
Thank
if
you.
you haven't joined, subscribe to Voices from the Swamp and subscribe to Nancy
Please,
Jean's
please.
Garden.
I'm just a little over 500 away from hitting my 10,000 subscriber goal.
Oh,
So
good.
I'm trying to hit 10K before Christmas.
And I'm running
So,
the Crystal Advent calendar on YouTube every day. And I'm also
yeah,
running it on Substack, which is a new thing for me to try out. So that's been kind of fun.
I've
And
got
then
a Substack, but I haven't done anything with it yet. I haven't quite
I'm going to
figured
put
it out.
all of the psychic profiles on Substack.
Oh, cool. Cool, cool, cool.
Get a whole
That'll be
different
good.
vibe. The people there respond very differently than they
Yeah.
do over
Yeah,
here.
that's what
Not
I've
that
heard a
I
lot of
mean
other
I love
people.
them all, but anyway,
Absolutely.
thank you all
Yeah.
for coming, and I look forward to it. And my next thing, I think, right now is Sunday morning with Scott. This is the only political show I do. So if you're subscribed, you'll get the notice that we're going to be going.
Well, I got monthly mysteries with Amy in an hour.
Yeah, I know. She's
We're
got
doing the casket girls of New Orleans and
ooh, what
the
fun.
myth and the myths and mythology around all of that and the vampires and all that stuff. I thought Christmas vampires, yeah, they go
Yeah,
together. Let's
that's
do
all
that. So
together. They've got red, red.
that's it.
I talk to y'all later. Bye bye.
Bye, y'all.